What's up, everyone? It's me, Adam Prime, and we are back for another TokuBrew podcast this week in Toku, aka we talk about Geats and King Oger. Both are very dramatic this week.
Yeah.
With me as always.
Oh, hi, I'm Stormy.
Yeah, this is like a very dramatic week.
I've noticed the introductions have stopped.
It's
fine if you want to.
Well, no, there's just so much. We're just gonna have to go. There's gonna be a lot to cover in this episode. You know what I mean?
Alright.
So many twists and turns, and it's kind of amazing. Starting off with King Oger.
This was a great episode.
This
I
was
feel
Rita's episode.
Yeah, this was Rita's episode. I would probably have to rewatch the first episode in order to compare it, but this is one of the best episodes so far.
The first one was super good as well, but I like that it opens up with literally Gaira getting chained to the butterfly and just getting hung there, and he's just trying so hard to laugh and like keep up his evil stick.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, is this my punishment?" And she's like, "No, this is just the transportation."
Yeah, exactly.
He's just laughing.
Yeah, he's just laughing, and then we cut back. And I think they don't land yet, but then we cut back to B and Reculus talking about like whatever. They're like, "Oh, the judge has her. You don't have much to worry about there." And he's just like, "I told you to bring him here." But he's like, whatever's gonna happen, Rita can deal with it. It's fine. What we need to focus on is that the Bugnark are trying to steal Kabuto."
He like expertly dodges like an accusation. I forget exactly what it was. It was just like, "Hey, you messed up because I wanted him here."
They were like, "Hey, you let Gaira take control of Kabuto. That's not fucking okay."
Yeah, but like now we know what they're after. That's more important.
Yeah, exactly. And then
again, expertly just avoided.
Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, we need to speed up our look for the guardian spirits." And they're like, they start looking up at the mural and they're like, "It rests beneath
the ice,
the bed of ice." And they started zooming in on definitely not the one that it is next.
Definitely.
It's definitely not the scorpion. And then we cut back to Gaira. They get dropped off, and she's like, "Snowball him." And they trap him in a snowman, and you still have him like trying, and he's so cold.
But he's so cold that he's like kind of cry laughing at this point.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh my god," and he's like, "Now take me back to Sogadam, so I can fucking kill Reculus." And she's just like, well, I guess they are.
Oh no, this is like your judgment.
Yeah, Rita's like, "No, your judging is happening here," and you pretty much find out that her kingdom specifically, like I don't remember the full name, is a prison.
It's essentially jail.
It's a court.
We weren't kidding when we thought like, oh, they are just judge, jury, and executioner and a lawyer, because they're also the one that does like the investigation throughout this. So.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I want to get one thing out of the way when it comes to Rita. I think it's very interesting, and again, I think they're doing it from a story standpoint. They never gendered this character.
Yeah, they always call them either Rita or the judge.
The judge.
Or they. Like, they don't even really say...
Yeah,
I don't think they ever really said she.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting because that kind of makes sense. We've seen this theme before in Ultraman Justice, I believe it was. Where, like, it's like Justice doesn't know a gender, so...
Yeah, well, like, Justice's, like, human form is female and has a female voice, but, like, as an Ultra, it's that more... Masculine, just, like, standard-looking Ultra.
But they still keep their feminine voice.
Yeah, but they have this feminine voice because it's, like, something where it's, like, Justice knows no gender or something, which is very true. So...
We wonder if they're going with a similar angle with them. We'll see later, like, if we're proven wrong or not, but that's a kind of cool stance to have.
Yeah. By the way, when she was asking him earlier, she's like, "Hey, you did all these crimes. Do you accept them?"
But until it gets confirmed, we may refer to them as she. But if, like, it does come out that, like, the character is, like, they, them, then we'll do that from there. But we don't know. We'll say they, them, but we may say she, but, like, until we know confirmed, essentially. We might say she.
I'm just gonna call him Rita.
Yeah. Well, you just said she, so that's why I was clarifying.
Darn it. Yeah, whatever.
My God.
Either way, I like how they were like, "Hey, did you do all these crimes?" And Gaira was like, "You damn right I did."
You bet your ass I did.
And then he finds out that
that
his trial will be happening here, and he's gonna be sentenced here. And
immediately,
like,
just like
drops the whole thing.
He's like, I was only pretending to be a bad guy. I'm not bad. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
Like I promise, I'm a good guy.
Rita's just like, you have no right to have the sword. You shouldn't have it. You're a stealer. And then like
you have no right to wield it.
Yeah, you have the symbol of royalty or whatever. Oh, let's wield the sword. But then we have we
even get a good example of this because are they just called the Bugnyark?
Yeah,
or is that specifically the big bad?
No, that's the race.
Okay.
Like, the Ethnarch is like the
okay, so the
Bugnyark show up and they're just like, give me money, please.
Well, no, they like even say it's just like, are you seeking shelter or has someone wronged you or are you here to do wrong? I forget exactly what they said, but it was essentially that.
Yeah, they were like, hey, are you here to fuck shit up?
Give me your stuff! And they're like, all right, time for me to rock.
Give me your treasure. I like that they put their hand out like a toddler, like, please.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, like how they we see like how they carry their sword is also like perfectly balanced on their back, of like how like you have to be perfectly balanced and neutral with judgment.
And you see them transform, and you see they have their special eye, which I guess is why they're covering it, because special
I just thought
rules.
It was both of their eyes.
No, like one of their eyes has like a contact.
Yeah, they like their eyes like roll back and they open them and it's different. Like everything is like in slow motion.
Well, yeah, and then they transform, and we see like a Mothra Leo like attack of a bunch of mini little Palpion gods.
Mm-hmm.
Like go, and it's on their shoulder, which that was an awesome fight, honestly.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
It was just like they just got owned.
Oh yeah.
And then we immediately start going
like,
into her judge.
It's funny because like we were talking about the bee might be the strongest character, but then you think about it, he was scared of her.
Everyone's afraid of her.
Everyone's afraid of them, and like after this, it's just like, oh no, they're the strongest.
Nobody fucks with the judge.
No one fucks with Rita.
No one.
For good reason. And they even make a cool statement of just like, the unforgiven never leave. And what was it about whoever?
The unwelcome can't break in.
Like if you're unwelcome, you're not allowed to answer. But if you're unforgiven, you're not allowed to leave.
There's no getting in and there's no getting out.
Unless they say so, essentially.
And then Rita's going on a trial because there's this scalper. And he's selling these Yeti plushes for way astronomical prices for scalping.
And the punishment is going into like a negative 30 Celsius cage for like 6 months, which sounds like utter hell. I hate the cold.
I love that
he's wearing a t-shirt. Like,
you can tell what kingdom he's part of.
Yeah.
I like that he says, since when is scalping a crime? Always, you piece of shit. It's not a crime like in reality.
You know who we're talking to. Like, you scalpers, we know who you are.
And we see that they like have like swing
they're like
benches.
They're like ski lifts.
Yeah, like in their courtrooms, they don't have chairs on the ground. And there's like this mouth that like monsters
that's where
just eats.
That's where he goes for punishment. She flings him in there. By the way, she also like when they hold their sword, they bang them like a gavel. It bangs the sword on the ground like a gavel, and I love it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, you got to get ready for Gyra's trial," and they're like, "Hey, give me a minute," and
just like so many locks on their doors.
Rita just puts on every lock
known to man.
Nobody gets inside,
and it's kind of sad why.
And we see all those Yeti plushes
just completely surrounding the room, and there's like a massive one on the couch.
Yeah. Which they admit.
Actually,
like,
it's not
a
couch.
I gave trial to the person who was scalping you. That will never be allowed.
I could only get 6 months. Like, that's the best I could do. Which is nice because you can tell that they're passionate about this, and this is something that they love. So, if, like, they tried their absolute damnedest to find everything they could be guilty of, and it's like, but they didn't try them for anything that they didn't do. Like, they're still fair, even though they have a personal vendetta against it.
Yeah.
Which just shows how fair that they are.
They made the Yeti, like, because at first I thought the Yeti was going to be, like, talking and, like, be, like, a little friend.
I thought it was a little friend, but, yeah, no, Rita's just crazy.
Rita just makes the Yeti talks. and makes the Yeti say, "You should have executed him."
No. We know that's not okay. Also, can I just, I may or may not have pre-ordered one.
Oh yeah, they're starting to sell them Yetis.
I can't wait until they come out with the giant one for like $800.
Oh, you know that's gonna happen.
You know
if
it's
this
gonna
is
happen.
Successful enough. Which, by the way, I like all the Yetis on the ground, like having like a tea party. Like one I think is playing like Chinese checkers. Like this is, you can play I Spy with this.
No one gets in their office.
No one gets.
There's also like like a t-shirt and a poster on
the wall.
Which,
by the way, you see.
They even like unzip their thing too.
Yeah, and I like that you see them kick their feet up, and they're just like, "Fuck it."
Like this is the only time they can actually relax, and it and like their friend like apparently
their caretaker. I don't know what they are.
Like I'm just gonna say friend or like assistant. Knows their secret because they like listen through the door and they make an extraordinarily funny face because they're just trying not to outwardly laugh, and that's kind of the reason they have to lock this up. Like they can't. I don't know if like they
can't seem weak.
Like they can't look weak. They are the judge, jury, executioner, lawyer. Again, like they are the judge. They have to be strong and cold and stoic and neutral and like scary because they live in a prison
that hates her.
That hates them. Yeah, like, and we'll talk about that more later, but like it's so sad that they have to hide this part of themselves because like they have to.
Rita never gets to wear their Yeti sweater.
Yeah.
Want to wear the Yeti
their
sweater.
Yetter,
also,
if you will.
Also, the face of the person while they're at the door is so funny.
It's so good.
And then we go
such pure laugh, just pure laughter.
Yeah, and then like, but Rita was just like, maybe I should just convict the guy, say he's guilty, and just call it over with.
Yeah, maybe I could just make this easy. It's obvious, right?
And the Yeti, and they say to the Yeti, "I can't, can I?" And then decides that they have to go to all the kingdoms and check it out for themselves.
They go on a little road trip to conduct an investigation.
Yeah, which by the way, they didn't lock the door, so that
on the way out. I feel like that's just kind of like just. It's one of those. It's a TV show thing. It's like they're not going to show you every detail, but I get what you mean. I don't know why you keep bringing it up, but I get what you mean. But
I just found it funny. Because it's like you saw all those obvious locks.
And then just leave it open.
Yeah, then just don't unlock it. And you see the Bugnark down underground. They're in the underground. They're with David Bowie.
Yeah, and they have an interesting conversation.
Well, yeah, because they're just like, oh, we need to continue to look for the other guardian spirits.
Oh, we know where this one is because a little bug told me.
A little bug told me.
Which is the first time they've actually referred to anything as a bug, which is funny because we think that they're referring to Reculus in this moment.
In some way, shape, or form. We'll get back to it afterwards.
We don't have any proof of that. We just it's more speculation.
Well, it's like we hear Reculus say, he's the one who says that it's beneath the ice and everything. So we knew he knew. So, there is something a little later that helps a little bit. But yeah, we're assuming that this could be like Reculus, honestly. And that's pretty much where it ends, and they're just like, okay, we're gonna be sending a soldier out there. They're gonna fucking do whatever, and
then Rita goes and
talks to Yamagast.
Yeah, and he like tells them all about like the whole like, oh, I like that security system is like super tight. I tried to crack into it.
600 years old or something like that.
I tried to crack into it, and even I couldn't do it. And then he just did it, so he must have royal authority in some way.
Royal authority.
No other way could he have possibly have done it.
Yeah, because Rita thought he was helping Gyra.
And then
one of the funniest jokes.
Yeah, and like they roll up their eyes, and you think they're about to like go into like their special eyes.
Like they're about to be like super detective mode. Wow.
No, they just reel their head back, and they just fucking scream bloody murder. Like it's not even like a cutesy. It's just like a like
yeah, it's just like a vulture, just fucking
pure
mad that
pure agony,
more complicated.
But if you think about it, it's like it makes sense because like him saying that is just like, oh, this just got so much more complicated. I'm gonna have to do so much more research. I'm gonna have to dig into so much stuff because of this one statement. And this is the first guy. You know what I mean? I can see why they would just be like, no.
And Rita's also said, hey, be cooperative, and remember, you're gonna have your own trial.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really funny that after Yamagast gives him all the information, like, I don't have to go through my trial, right? And Rita's just like, don't mock me.
They even brought a little
you son
friend.
of a bitch, and had a Yeti with them.
No
because
friend.
the Yeti needs to. And I like that they just say this sucks. Just I don't want to deal with this shit.
Anyway, the next person that they go to.
They go to Yellow.
They go to Yellow, and when I say that there's so much tension. There's very much like the playful kind of rivalry of like, oh, I hate you, but like I'm just in there like, now kiss, like.
Yeah, and they're kind of,
and like even like because like they like, I almost like in the most innocent way possible, like while they're like interrogating her, Rita like bends them over a bit to like talk intensely to their face, but Yellow just has this look of like, hello.
Just like that.
Oh,
the
really?
nerve on this bitch.
And like they're just like right there.
Yeah, Sebastian's just like.
By the way, I'm going to say right here, right now, what I'm going to try and call. I realized this in the middle of the episode. I'm like, you gotta know that like at some point, like they're gonna like get their thing unzipped on accident, and Yellow's gonna see their face because their whole thing is beauty, and they're gonna be like, oh, beautiful. Like, you know what's gotta happen, right?
That has to
because
happen.
like we saw Rita's face, and the actress, because I believe the actress is just her, right?
Yeah.
They're very pretty, so it's just like I'm just like, that's gotta happen at some point, right? And then Blue's gonna get really mega mad.
He's gonna get
also,
his girl snap.
Apparently Adam never fucking realized that I had pointed out that there was pink in Yellow's hair.
Yeah.
You guys can back me up on this, right? Because I swear I have mentioned it at least once or twice in the podcast, and he's just like, hey, look, there's pink in her hair. I had almost a mental breakdown of like, I have mentioned it! I had a Rita moment. I started just screaming.
Jesus, don't go too loud on the podcast.
I'm sorry.
Listeners.
Usually I'm quiet, but like you got me boiling for a second.
Scenes. By the way, Rita's like, hey, do you know any good doctors?
And then they just walk out.
Kamakiri was just like, you
me,
got
bitch.
this, bitch.
Me, bitch, it's me. And it's like, oh, why are they asking for a doctor? You'll find out later.
You'll find out in a minute.
Anyway, they go to B, and he is just so dodgy,
lying.
so sketchy. He's just like, anyway, I heard this, but that could just be a rumor.
Like,
and then there's also this, but that's only what they say. And then Rita just immediately is just like, you're useless.
Yeah,
but,
it just leaves.
Yeah, and they end up going to Reculus.
And this is something very interesting.
Oh, I love this scene.
And by the way, some of Reculus's facial expressions are hilarious. Mm-hmm. Because you could tell it's like he's just so full of himself. But I like how he's like, hey, you better execute Gyra.
Because if you don't, the second you let them free, I'm going to. Which is like, wow, good to know that you just told essentially the police officer of the kingdom that you're gonna murder someone if you let them go.
Yeah. And then he's like, I make a point to exercise every threat with extreme force.
Yeah.
He's the person who
keep that in mind, by the way.
Who kills a fly with a hand grenade.
Exactly. That is a great way of describing it.
And you can obviously his King Oger caliber repaint that he starts holding. Mm-hmm. Definitely not a transformation device that he's getting his own
I forget
for.
exactly what he says to piss Rita off, though. What did he say? I'm just like was it the fact of like, oh, if you let them go, I'm just gonna execute them myself?
No, he's like, if you let them go, I'm taking your kingdom along with it.
Oh, right, after he kills them, their kingdom is next.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, I had so much cathartic release when Rita just walks up, takes their glove off, and then smacks this bitch straight across the face.
Slaps the taste out of his mouth.
The taste buds have been flung. Like, his weave has been snatched. Like, and
Rita
then
says
they hold up their hand. Oh, pardon me, there was a mosquito on you. Because he's just like, oh, couldn't that be, legally speaking, couldn't that be assault? Like, trying to play the game, but Rita is the best lawyer ever.
Yeah, Rita's like, was that even enough to hurt you?
Oh, did that hurt you then? Like, they play into, like, his ego. And, like, we don't have a screenshot of it, but, like, after, like, Rita leaves, he just gets this infuriated look on his face, and I was just like, ooh, you know it hurt.
He's so angry. And also you could see, you pointed out to me, that you could see the bite.
Oh,
where
yeah.
the mosquito bite was.
Did you get
I don't have this.
Yeah, but like...
Oh, yeah, I do. It's right here.
Yeah, like, I don't know, but like, yeah, like, after, like, he had, like, this face and his face goes neutral, like, you actually do see, like, it's, like, a tiny, tiny piece of makeup, but, like, there is, like, a small bump and a little pink on his face from when the mosquito bit him.
Which, I'm wondering, if Reculus isn't giving the Bugnark exactly information, was it that mosquito, or like their spies, like the littler, smaller bugs?
I never thought about that. The fact, when you pointed that out, it was really interesting of like, oh, are the bugs just gonna, like the, like, not bugs as in like, oh, the gods, but the bugs as in the pests are gonna like start like surrounding him and creeping in because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where it ends. Reculus is pissed.
It's so glorious.
And Gyra is in prison, freezing his ass cheeks off.
And then their friend comes in. Yeah. The one that was laughing at them behind the door.
They're like, hey, if you wanna be mad at anyone, just blame Rita. Everyone does around here.
Because everyone here is a convicted convict, and they all hate
her. Or
her.
used to be one. They're like, everyone
do they say
who lives
I'm
here.
saying, do they actually say her? Or do they just say everyone hates Rita?
Everyone hates Rita's guts.
Everyone hates Rita's guts. Right, okay. And like, we don't have a screenshot of it, but like you even see like on some of the inmates that are like trying to warm their hands by a fire, they have a tattoo on their hand which looks like the scale like got tipped, so it's like, oh, they've been judged and they've been deemed guilty, you know, essentially. Oh, by the way, they also plucked a hair off of his head.
Yeah, that was what started the whole scene.
And the whole everyone shows up for this trial, guys. It is so good.
Wait, before we get to the trial, I like how Gyra's like, the judge convicted them all, and they're like, that's where they say everyone hates Rita because of that.
And he's like, then I'm gonna choose to not hate them because those who uphold justice are often hated.
He's like, I don't like it, but I'll accept it. It's just like, it's just frustrating.
It's frustrating, but like, I understand. And they're just trying to uphold the law, and like he knows how bad he looks at the moment. Yeah,
he respects Rita.
Yeah, and Rita was actually watching. I don't remember how, but
no, she was talking to.
No, they were watching through like a little screen. Remember?
Maybe you're right.
Yes, of course I'm right. I'm always right.
I don't remember. Either way, the trial starts. Because
they said it's like, oh, that's interesting, because they were trying to judge his reaction.
But Sebastian, also, there was like this way to get in was like scales.
Yeah, they had to like be perfectly balanced.
Yeah, exactly. But Yellow and Sebastian were on one side.
And Blue and Reculus and the Bee were on the other.
And everyone else was on the other. So like
also Rita's friend was there, I think. But
we get the ultimate thing about the trial, and
they go into every single detail.
Well, first things first, they just said Gyra was innocent. That's just what it opens on.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, I was trying to.
They get into why.
I mean, because he even like starts to plead with Rita at one point, because they're like, oh, I have casted the judge. I've come to a conclusion. He's like, please at least hear me out.
He's like, hey, don't I get to say anything?
Yeah, and then they're just like, he's innocent, and they bang their gavel, their sword gavel. And
Reculus ain't having any of that.
Reculus is like, no.
He's like, what was that? Was that again?
And when I tell you, Rita has like, I think it's like From a Beautiful Mind, where like all the equations are over someone's face of just like, they put all the pieces together perfectly in such a beautiful way, guys. It is beautiful. They're like, oh, he was able to unlock the god's powers with the sword. Without, which means, and because like of what Blue has told them, of just, oh, he wouldn't be able to do that unless he had a king's right, essentially.
Yeah, the royal authority.
The royal authority. And then Reculus is like, that's bullshit. And Blue is like, no, it's not. I can confirm.
Well, yeah, it's like, we're pretty much going down the line.
And then it's just like, oh, so I looked up Rainbow Juria. And then his face, he gets such an oh shit face.
Yeah, as soon as he hears Rainbow Juria,
and it's
just like, oh.
And then looking through it, there is only one account of it ever existing on record.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, a dish that doesn't exist except for one mention in one record.
In your fucking castle.
It happened in the castle. What was it, 10 years ago, I believe?
11 years ago.
11 years ago. And then it's just like...
It immediately flashes back.
It flashes back, and it's Reculus.
Young Reculus.
With Gyra? Is that his name?
Gyra.
Gyra. And he's eating the Rainbow Juria that we have seen this whole time, and freaking Cogsworth, like, walks up and is like, oh, Prince Reculus, the king is calling for you. So that's his big brother, and then he's like, oh...
By the way, we knew this day one. We're like, it's gonna be his brother, evil uncle, something.
Also, apparently the thing that had gotten mentioned in the magazine was that they put his last name out, because even he didn't know his last name. It is the same last name as him.
Tasty.
And then he's like, okay, hold on, what's your proof? that's when like the mosquito bite and the hair comes in, because they DNA tested and they had it confirmed by the best doctor, which is Yellow, that their DNA is a complete match.
Yeah. And
by the way, Black is just eating all the drama up. Like,
yeah.
B, he's just like, oh hell yeah.
He's like, oh my god.
Even his little buddy's just like, ooh, oh shit. And
I like
and it's just like, because like he is a descendant from the king, wielding his birthright. He has done nothing wrong.
Legally,
there has been no crime. Regulus tries to, and then like he's just like, oh, but like what about all of the like tyrant stuff that he did? He was invading kingdoms. Isn't that illegal? No, when Rita was visiting everybody, they also talked to the people.
They sung his praises.
Yeah, they talked to the children, they talked to everyone that they interacted with, and all they did was talk about how awesome he was. Also, Rita was like eating things and like holding flowers and stuff, and it was really sweet, really cute. And like everyone just talked about how good he was and how much he protected them. And then
Regulus pretty much just snaps back with, have you forgotten what I told you earlier? I'm gonna steal your shit!
And it's just like so good.
Rita's line so solid.
The law is a spear that slays kings, and Regulus has such.
And then just stashes away.
I'm gonna put this. Please put this screenshot up of just him just having like the biggest. Bitch,
oh, if I haven't already used it once today,
like his pearls fully clutched. He's in full bitch Karen mode, and I kind of love it.
He's gonna go talk to your manager.
Yeah. Oh, he is speaking to someone's manager immediately.
Yeah, exactly. He just storms off.
And I don't know if we have it, but like he just Gira looks up at Rita, just thanks them, just thank you. And that's just something that we had been talking about a little bit off screen, of just their relationship is so interesting, because like the pattern that we had seen that had been like done differently for each of the kingdoms was everyone kind of coming to know each other's shtick of like he's like, okay, why don't the people in your kingdom hate you? Why do they love and respect you? And then their whole shtick was like figuring out why Gira is doing what he is doing. Mm-hmm. But with these two, they didn't have to say a word. They immediately understood each other. And like even though
Gyra saw them as justice, they're like, if they truly uphold justice
in like the way possible, in like the truest and like most like non-biased way possible, of course they are going to be hated, because they are going purely off of what is fact. And like again, it's funny that the circumstance that was the most understanding is the one where the kingdom does hate their ruler.
Yeah.
But it's like, but he understands why, and they still feel like they are a good king, they are a good leader. It's just because of the circumstance that they are in, of course, they're going to be hated. And because they immediately understood what was up with him, boom, instant understanding, which is really, really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Again, there's a reason I really like this episode, guys. It's deep.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the Bugnark decided they're going to be attacking because they dug underground. And
we get everyone here. Eat your heart out, Donbro fans.
Like,
us.
And they were like, oh, the Quintet Alliance was made so we could protect our kingdoms and all of that.
Blue's a little sassy.
Oh yeah. He's just like, I remember I was kicked out.
I was kicked out of the Alliance. They're like, whatever, man.
And Rita gives Gyra back the sword, saying, hey,
you better fight, you have no right to refuse, which is kind of a callback to what they said earlier. Like, you have no right to wield it, now you have no right to refuse it.
I love that B just said, I knew this day would come.
Everyone is just like, you liar!
Well, except for Rita.
Rita doesn't
Everyone
care.
else is just like, you son of a bitch.
Rita's like, I don't care.
And I like how Gyra goes to transform. He's like ready. He's out front. Blue kicks him to the ground.
Rita kicks them too.
Exactly.
Rita kicks them just out of my way.
Yeah, and they all do their poses.
By the way, if you couldn't tell, Rita is my favorite so far. I think Yellow is probably my second favorite, but like I really like Rita.
But yeah, we get all 5 of them transforming together.
Oh, and even like our subtitle people put little jokes into like their transformations, and it was really fun.
Yeah, it's like it says bop it. It actually says bop it.
Like, well, no, it was like tune it, kick it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of others.
Pop it on. That's what it said.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But like it sounded so much like a bop it. We were just like bop it. twist
yeah,
it.
we get all 5 of them together. It didn't take 44 episodes.
And even though it's like all of them are like fully engaged, like in like the big robot battle, we also get a sick shot of Blue like witnessing the carnage. It's really good.
Like destroying some Bugnark, and then we obviously get our first fully combined, fully united King Oger.
And it doesn't work out at first.
Well, yeah, they all start arguing. We find out Rita's in the sword.
They're like in the butterfly, which is in the hilt.
Main butterfly part, not the head. I would have thought she would have been in the head. They would have been in the head.
I imagine.
That's where I would have thought.
And it's funny,
Rita
like they're obviously like the most strongest fighter, and they immediately get thrown and stuck in the ground, and they're just like, ah.
I love that you see the butterfly just flapping
like,
off.
Even Rita's like flapping their arms, trying to like, this sucks, guys, and like they even like set off a thing they're like, you idiots, that's gonna hit me. Like, seriously?
Well, yeah, like they start trying to ride her kick because they're like, no, I got this. No, I got this.
Like no, well, it's not even that. It's just like, oh, let me take a turn. Oh, let me take a turn. Oh, let me take a turn, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's only when everyone's just shut up and follow my lead that they actually become synchronized, which is funny because they are all leaders, which is something interesting I didn't really think about. Like, they're all leaders in their own respects. So it's only when they are like completely in the headspace of I am taking charge that they synchronize.
You see all of their I guess they're called their souls, by the way. These they're called the Shoe God souls. Which, by the way, I think that the ones for their main 5 things are in the swords.
That would make a lot of sense.
I think they're built into the swords.
Interesting, though, that's what they become encapsulated by when they transform,
that
too. So true. I almost wonder if, like, it's going to be, like, we were the gems all along.
We were their souls.
But, like, no, it's probably in the sword, which is actually also really cool. We get another absolutely brilliant shot once they're, like, fully in sync. Rita's not stuck in the ground anymore.
Rita was beating King Oger on the head with the sword.
Yeah, you moron.
And we get just this epic shot, this epic sword swing, and they just kill the monster.
Kaboom. Also, oh my god, guys. More fights in the snow, please. It looks so pretty, so good. More fights in the snow. This is one of the, I am hopefully imagining that these kingdoms are going to be like the main set pieces for everything. So, more snow fights, please.
And the Bugnark stole the scorpion.
Yeah, there's like the hallway that they had been in earlier is like completely destroyed, and like their friend is all injured and leaning on them.
They're like, I'm dying.
And Rita's like, oh crap, there actually was something hidden here. And it is in fact the scorpion. Big shocker.
Yeah, it's the scorpion. And Deathnark, the whatever, is just like, we did it!
Guys, such a good episode! I can't wait to see what happens next, especially now that all the personalities are going to be bouncing off of each other. I'm excited!
I think it's funny.
I guess
that, like,
Dawn Brothers kind of conditioned me to just not expect all of them to be together right away.
I still like it was paced out, though.
Yeah, it was still very nicely paced out. I would not complain about a thing of what they've done so far.
Yeah. Next week is hilarious, though, because, again, I like how we see Reculus so angry and upset, like, I don't want anyone to know. And then we see in the preview next episode, he's like, oh, hey, brother, what's up? Welcome home.
Yeah, because, like, in the very end of this episode, right before it goes into the preview and the ending, it actually does, like, have a thing where, like, they all just kind of, like, look at each other respectfully and then go into, like, their mecha and leave. And, yeah, he is like, I'm coming for Reculus's head. I am coming for
Reculus, you are mine.
Yeah, and it's like, of course, now that, like, the cat's out of the bag, he's like, oh, brother, welcome in.
Like,
he's probably
putting on the show for his people.
He's probably gonna try and play dumb, just be like, oh, I didn't know. Like, oh, we could be a family, and I can poison you later. Like, kind of thing. Like, because they mentioned
does this rack smell like chloroform?
Oh my god. Yeah, and like, because one of the things that I did make sure to like get a screenshot of was like, oh, like the king is calling for you, because obviously at least their dad is involved in this. So I wonder if it's gonna be where Reculus was like he killed his dad and then like got rid of his brother so that he could have the throne essentially.
Like, I don't know what this means. Like, I want to know.
It's a Greek tragedy.
No, yeah, exactly. Where it's like, it's so basic, but I love it. It's like...
It's everything that I wanted Saber to be. It's literally everything that I've been wanting for so long.
High fantasy, not
and it just keeps getting better.
I liked this episode. Again, as much as I say, like, Reculus is a fuck and he's a piece of shit, I like watching him because it's just like, you're terrible.
He's a fun piece of shit. You love to hate him because he's so overly top and just so evil. That's just, it's so good. You don't get villains like that a lot of the time.
It's like, I'm not saying like, oh, the actor's doing over the top, it's bad, where it's like, no, it's like, he's committed, like, but it feels like Shakespeare, you know, where it's like oh, how could this happen? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like he knows that he's just like he's being a bitch essentially. He's being a little shit of like he knows that you know that it's bullshit, but he's still gonna kind of try. It's just like, oh brother, what are you talking about? And it's just like we know it's shit, Regulus. He's like, might as well try. You're like,
yeah.
Anyway,
but that also means Cogsworth knows. I don't remember his actual name.
I just think Cogsworth works because he just looks like Cogsworth. I mean, that's just Cogsworth.
Like, we don't know if, like, his other security guy knew about Gyra.
Lumiere looked, he was in the dark.
But, oh my god. The candle in the dark, the irony. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think the first episode, with just on its own, what it did, I think was just so amazing. I still think that one might be a little bit better. Because, like, again, I didn't expect a lot of what happened in this first episode. But it's like, even though I knew the beats, and it's like, I like that we're getting the brother reveal out of the way pretty soon, because it would have been kind of like, like I said, soon as we read the synopsis, we were like, this guy is something.
It feels like the fan short's ending soon, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like, oh, it almost feels like this is the ending coming, but like, oh, it's just the beginning.
Do we want to talk about Okuaga Oger? Do we want to talk about him? No? We'll wait until next week.
Silver one?
Yeah, that's the silver one.
I mean, I don't really know anything about it, so I
can't
exactly contribute.
Next week.
I wonder, is that Regulus or is that somebody else?
Who has the sword?
I asked before and you didn't answer me.
I thought I did.
No, asshole.
Well, yeah. Why do you think he has that? It's to sell more toys.
I literally, with the same evidence, asked if that was Regulus, and you're like, oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
My bad.
I'm glad at least some of it's on camera, because I swear to God, you don't believe me sometimes when I tell you, hey, yeah, you know that thing you're talking about? I've already mentioned it.
But damn you, Geets!
Oh god, Geets is, it's a heart poker.
So yeah, by the way, Buffa makes the game. But before that, I like how we have to open just on the gardener being so... I know he has another name, like the Anthesis. I don't remember what the fuck it is. I just remember him as the gardener. I like how he always has to yell at Geets. Like, fuck you!
God, I had to, do, a...
I gotta get this guy to
paleontology dig. I had to do, a paleontology dig just to get more dudes.
But it's Neon's birthday!
Her birthday is April 1st. Funny enough, Maggie's birthday as well.
Yeah, our dog's birthday. Neon share a birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just, streaming, being like, oh, hey.
It's my birthday.
She immediately stops streaming and looks depressed.
Yep. And it's the anniversary of her best and worst day, or whatever the heck she says.
Yeah.
And,
Tycoon
and Geets are just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, they're just like,
shopping.
They're like, hey, we gotta get Neon a present.
Yeah, it's like, what do you get a rich person? He's asking questions, hey, Geets, you're old, right?
Did we always celebrate birthdays?
Yeah, what would you do? He's like, oh, you visit shrines at these birthdays or whatever, and it's like, and even Geets is just like, I would have thought that you would have reacted more to this information. He's like, yeah, whatever.
He's like, you're still ace, right?
I kind of love it. It's just so casual. It's just whatever. Yeah. All right, sure,
right.
Why not?
I like Geets' smile. He's like, I know I keep you around for something.
Yeah, he was really sweet.
Yeah, and then we immediately see a Jamato with a red cape. It's going around, and Tycoon's like, we gotta get him, and then he immediately walks through a wall, and Geets is like, oh shit.
Ah, shit, dudes. Yeah, I thought it was just he noticed the arena, but no, it actually does woof up and separate them.
Yeah, it's you can't come in.
Yeah. And this one was Buffa's challenge.
Is a bullfighting game.
Yeah, it's a bullfighting game where the Matador leads the bull into the arena, and then it's a 1v1, and it's a best 2 out of 3 with the last 3 riders, with Rook, Bishop, and Buffa. And funny enough, Tycoon starts to poke at Buffa a bit, which is really funny. He's like, "No, you're the bull," which is what?
Buffa's just the fuck.
He didn't get the joke. It's really funny.
Buffa's like, "Shut the fuck up," and then we get pretty much.
Oh yeah, there it is.
We get the game lineup and everything, and then we immediately also see that Neon's fans for the Desire Grand Prix are
Wanna
going to have a birthday.
Yeah, they want to send her stuff and celebrate their birthday.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you can celebrate your birthday after they win. And we get Jeremy, like, looking...
No. See, they're having a conversation, like, everyone's, like, saying happy birthday, and Geets is like, hey, you look, pretty depressed for someone that's, having a birthday. Like,
yeah, you look pretty sad. Like, what's your deal?
And, like, they're just talking, and then...
And then Jeremy is just like,
romance drama, and Tsurumi is just immediately like, no. No.
And Tsurumi just is like pushes him forward.
He's too old for her. And like, I'll fully admit, I kind of hope this is not what they're doing. I hope that's just Jeremy being Jeremy.
Also,
I honestly really hope that they don't go into some sort of like love rhombus or triangle between Geets, Tycoon, and Kyun. I really hope they don't. The best possible thing is for her to end up with Tycoon if she's gonna end up with anybody. I honestly kind of hope she doesn't end up with anybody and she just kind of gets like self-respect or something in the end. But like, I don't know. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? I'm not the biggest fan of like love triangles.
And this writer hasn't had a good track record with love triangles.
It's like a love triangle can be fine, but it's just like I'm not a big fan of like the trope as a whole.
Hey, could be Axade when everyone seems like they're coming on to Emu.
That was just funny because Emu was oblivious to all of it. But anyway, so Tycoon is fighting, and
a thing pops out of the water.
What's their name? Draculaura, Baroba. She cheats. She straight up cheats. Even
they say it's a 1-on-1, and then he immediately gets stabbed by water in the ground as he was winning.
Yeah, like he legitimately would have won if they had not have interfered like that. And even Buffa is just like, excuse me, you did not ask me for this. Like, I did not clear this. And she's like, it's his little surprise or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, you're fucking with my game. That's bullshit. And Tycoon obviously gets caged, which we thought we thought we were doing it to the death.
Yeah, I thought it was a death match.
By the way, second time Tycoon has been captured. And
your princess is in another castle.
Yeah.
But and even Buff is like, don't interfere with my game. Like,
yeah, he's
like,
mine. Stop interfering with my game.
Yeah, and then it's like, like Nago is next, and like they have like 3 hours. They have 3 hours. And Baroba actually is like, I'm gonna make an announcement halfway through that fight that'll make her just sent into the pits of despair.
Yeah, she's gonna be so depressed. And then we cut to Q.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Q, who's just like...
I was gonna say, you're adopted, but...
Oh my god. Well...
But anyway, so Q actually is like
has a box.
Trying to approach them, and like, they have a small conversation of like, is that for me? No. Just because it's your birthday, like, it doesn't mean that it's like... just because it's your birthday doesn't mean it can't be anyone else's birthday or something like that. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
He does this thing of being a dick.
Yeah, and then they're like, how did you even know I would be here? And he's like, I was just walking by. It's a coincidence. Like, you're my supporter, Kyun, aren't you? Just,
yeah, I love his face where he's just like,
like, just caught red-handed. Like, if he would have played it cool, he could have been like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
but, like,
he's just like, he was caught.
Too much of a little bitch.
Like a little
And, like,
bitch.
When I tell you, I'm kind of proud of her, because she full-on calls his ass out. Like, they go into, like, the little supporter room, and she's like, you're really nice and sweet in these letters, and then you treat me like shit, and you're a salty bitch. Like, when you're, like, face-to-face with me, what are you? Are you sweet or are you salty?
You just like teasing me, don't you?
Yeah, like, and like she like slams on the ground, slams on the table, just like, you just like teasing me. Like, that's awful. You suck. Like, I
love that she says you suck.
Yeah, like, and he's trying to defend himself, like, I'm not salty, but like we all know, and like he tries to have like a. Like, but I'm on the inside kind of moment because he's
looking at flowers. He's
like, why can I only be honest in my letters when I see her? I say the opposite of what I'm thinking. I feel like that's like the perfect voice for him. It's like such a little bitch voice.
I can't.
I don't like you or anything, but like I can only write that I do, like, kind of thing. And then her fucking dad walks in.
He's just like, hey, you're her supporter, right?
And then they like have this conversation, and guys, when I tell you, I was legitimately disgusted.
And you hear Neon's dad say, hey, my wife is a lot more old-fashioned and wants to send Neon off with a full family friend.
Like, she wants an arranged marriage, essentially. Yeah. He's like, but I'm different.
He's like, I'm different. He's like, I want to connect with people in the future.
I feel like that's connections that we want to make. So he's almost like selling her to him. It's so
just
fucking
like
gross.
Hey, you want my daughter?
Yeah. Oh my god, it is so gross, you guys.
It's terrible.
It actual shivers. Ew. But
he's just like, hey, I just want her to obtain true love, and I like that cute.
Yeah, he's like, that's like the minimal requirement for being a parent is to want your kid to be happy.
Parent.
It's to like let your kid want to have affection that they deserve, and like he even is like, oh, are those flowers that you got, because like this was
your daughter,
because all this was at like a flower shop, and then they went and like,
yeah, because he was getting a bouquet.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, are those for your daughter? And he like just kind of goes silent.
He's like,
yeah.
Yes, they are. And we see that.
And Geets actually is like watching like this old news report from like 11 years ago, I believe.
When Neon was rescued by her.
Yeah, from the like ransom people, which actually we had heard of before, like really way early in the series.
Yeah, like we saw that. Like episode 3.
That's the reason that their mom is so overprotective and like has trackers on her and has security guards and blah 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 blah. Hi, Thomas, but. You know.
Oh my god, yeah, the promo of this was amazing because it was Ben and John, and they were just like, hey, we're doing the episode. It's Neon's birthday. Wait, where is Neon?
Oh no!
I love that.
Run away.
I loved that so much.
I love it. But
yeah, no, and Geets is just like, suspicious, and he starts walking where
it happened.
Neon was kidnapped, and all of a sudden
the dad is there.
He sees Time Fire, and he's just like, oh, Geets, I know you. I always watch the show.
Yeah, and then he's just like, oh, so is there anything more important than isn't like your beloved daughter the most important thing on her birthday? And he just has like a straight fuck you face. He's like, you pretend that you didn't see this. I'm a sponsor. And I can have your driver confiscated. And Geets is just like, hey, I don't want to mess with your family, whatever. And like, he leaves, and like we see like, oh. I think Neon like starts to like reminisce because she's just about to go into this fight after being all this emotional
remembering
stuff.
Her birthday, she's like on the bitterness
that birthday because she had been kidnapped on her birthday, whereas like all this terrible things happen, but like her mom is singing to her and hugging her.
Because she couldn't eat even though she was excited for the cake.
I imagine Neon says that like, oh, this is the worst and also the best day because all that terrible stuff happened, but like, oh, that maybe that's like the only time that she remembers her parents being affectionate towards her, because we see like in the report of him like running out and hugging her. It's like, oh, he's finally embraced his daughter like after this terrible thing, and like again like her mom is singing to her and hugging her, so it's like maybe that's why she considers it both the best and the worst day, because like that's the only time she remembers them doing that to her.
Yeah, and like I think she was telling that to Geets and everything, and all of a sudden she's like, "Well, I gotta go fight now." And Geets is just like,
He like actually like physically like grabs her and stops her. He's like, "No, something about this is wrong and worries me," and he goes into the arena instead.
Yeah, so he's fighting Bishop.
Which pisses like everyone off.
Well, pisses off Baroba, but I like that. Buffa is just like, Geets figured it out, dumb nut.
Damn it. Whatever.
So second round is with is Geets versus Bishop now.
Mm-hmm.
And Geets wastes no time to figure out that there are two of them.
Yeah, and he also like uses Ninja because that's what Tycoon left behind.
Yeah, like I don't have any screenshots of it actually, but like it was Magnum Ninja. But like, and as soon as he realizes there's two of them, he immediately goes boost.
No, once he drives both of them out. By the way, the second one's design is very gross and very good.
He has a sweet sword.
I like it. But he like boosts just like Wolverine claws them in the face.
Yeah. And he just starts annihilating it. And then the thing goes silent. This is where Baroba's like, I have an announcement about Neon.
And like they don't it's just her laughing. Like they're little that laugh.
Like, that's where it stops.
And everyone, you see everyone's reactions just like, oh shit. Like,
and you hear Geets just silently. He pulls out the laser
guys, the first time I watched this, I legitimately like got so many goosebumps. I was like, Adam, I'm scared. Adam, I'm scared, because Geets was just in like that silent rage that like it's just like, oh, people are about to die. And and we have some brilliant shots of like,
well, there were just so many good shots of this fight. He just starts annihilating them.
When Geets, because Geets like wasn't playing easy before, but like he is like
It's like, I'm going full power
he's
now.
out for blood. He is ready to kill.
Like,
He even shoots down a camera, which are way bigger than I thought.
Yeah, he just
to crush one of
Bishop.
them. So to pin him down. I thought those things were like maybe the sizes of watermelons, by the way. The fact that they're like the size of like a Mini Cooper.
Like, yeah, like, he just crushes Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is where we get
like, yeah, and this is where Broba says, hey, if Nyaga loses the final game, all the riders will be wiped out.
Because keep in mind, like, this was the thing that, like, I had kind of forgotten about a little bit of, like, the future people are leaving after this, wasn't it? Like, they're going to be going to a different time period. Like, oh, we're not doing the Grand Prix here anymore. We have to move because too many people are figuring it out.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's like, and then like, oh yeah, and she'll be wiped out if that happens. And you're probably wondering about that, and we're just about to get into that because while this fight is going on, she goes into the room where like all of her supporters have like sent her presents. There's a happy birthday sign. There's a cake,
and
there's like,
happy birthday.
And they have like little like speakers in them or something because all of them are like saying, "Hey, happy birthday, we love you," blah blah blah. And then suddenly it's just everyone just like stops and then like they start berating her. It's just like, you shouldn't be in the show. You're not worthy of being a common writer.
I love the one that says, "You don't get it, do you?"
That hedgehog really feels like he feels betrayed, and like she's like completely like confused, and like they're calling her a different name. Like, you're a fictional celebrity.
Yeah, you're just a fake Akari.
You're an Akari 2 or something like that, and she just doesn't understand. And then she starts to remember what actually happened that night. And guys. So what happened was Neon,
Akari
died that day. Like their daughter
returned alive.
Yeah, like we have like these like alternative flashbacks while Neon is in color and everything else is just dreary and like unsaturated.
Like yeah, you see her dad like running towards the gurney with the dead body.
Like, we don't have it on screen because YouTube.
Yeah, but
like,
that's too messed up.
Just in case, it's a little messed up. And like again, like they're calling a different name. The mom is depressed. Like the birthday cake changes names at one point.
Well, yeah, it like phases it out, and then all of a sudden it's just her singing "Happy Birthday" to an empty chair.
Oh my god! And Neon's just like watching from the distance, and then you actually see him like
that we see
Time Fire Red
talking about talking to Lord Reginald, and he's just like, "Can you grant my wish?" He's like, "Easy.
If you agree to become a sponsor."
Yeah, he's like, as long as you become a Desire Grand Prix sponsor, we'll give you what you want.
And it's, again, just so gross what his wish is. It's a world where my ideal daughter, Neon, is alive. Because, again, and so she isn't even fucking real. She is a creation of the goddess, like...
Well, she's like a repurposed, like...
Yeah, like, we don't know exactly, like, what, like, because, like, I was really thinking about, like, the wording of this, and it's like, if you think about it, it's like, oh, they want their ideal daughter. They give them a specific name, like, they want their ideal daughter to be alive, essentially, and their ideal daughter was Akari. That was their ideal child. That was their perfect child, essentially. But now, so that's what they are. They are just that child, but alive, but with a different name that they chose, essentially. So it's like, that's really sad, because if you think about it, if Akari had lived, imagine how much better their life would have been.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Like, they would have been happy because their parents did love them, probably. The reason Neon doesn't feel like they've ever felt love is because they physically have never felt that love. They have the memories of, I imagine, they have the memories of that happening, but their physical body has never felt love.
Because they're loving the daughter that's dead.
Yeah, like, all of that died along with them, I imagine. By the way, little surprise for you, Adam. I actually looked up, like, okay, is there, like, a thing, like, with the word neon? Because, like, I remember Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah.
Sorry if you pronounce it differently. I've heard it pronounced a billion different ways. And it's like, okay, like, what exactly does it mean? Because I was like, oh, is it kind of like how in English we use Neo as kind of like the, like, progression, better modern version of something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, New Neo, New York.
Exactly, something like that. So I looked it up, and I just kind of saw like the meanings behind the names, and Adam, I'm shook.
What's it say?
So like Neon as a girl's name apparently means a rather preferably peaceful, quiet, kind of tranquil thing. Like, oh, they want them to be quiet. And also like it has like themes of like music and art, which makes sense because like beat is what they're.
Well, yeah.
And Akami, the other name.
Akari, yeah.
Oh, I looked up the wrong name. Then I looked up Akami. That's my bad. But like that one was Akari, which is Akami. What I looked up, which is different. Sorry about that. Meant love and affection.
Oh, that would have been funny.
I'll look up Akari real quick. It also meant like a red meat and like a tuna.
Yeah.
But
By the way, we saw a game master.
Is it AKARI?
It's AKARI. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that there was just another game master looming there in just the mask, just like, yep, I'm here. All right, I'll get the goddess right on it.
Apparently it kind of means like lights.
Huh. But.
Brightness and brilliance. Like, yeah, like something. Again, I don't speak Japanese. I could very much be wrong. That was just a Google search. Well, but like, I got so happy when I saw that, and now that I'm wrong, I'm kind of sad. Yeah, that would have been brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we have the audience just tearing Neon apart as she's like crying.
Yeah, like she's figuring this out at the moment too. Like. And like, oh, I can't believe I cheered for you. And she's just like having such a bad. I want to give her a hug so bad.
And Geets is just like, how could you have done this? You stomped all over Nyago's feelings.
And he has the "I'll never forgive you" line. And a lot of you, if you watch like either like anime or like Toku or stuff, you'll probably have heard this, like, because that's the closest English translation to that phrase. It has a bit of a different meaning, though, because when someone in Japan says those words of, like, oh, I am never going to, if you do that, I'll never forgive you, or I'll never forgive you for this, it's not because, like, in our way of, like, asking for forgiveness. It's more of, like, I will never let you not carry this burden. Essentially, it's just, like, you will never be forgiven of this burden that you have created for yourself, or that you have created.
Literally is about to kill Bishop.
And if you think about that, that is so impactful for someone that's essentially going to live forever.
Yeah.
Just like, you are never going to be rid of this burden, even after both of us are dead. Like,
yeah. When you die, that's when it
also,
will be gone.
Seeing Geets just so mad, terrifying.
He just literally is about to annihilate Bishop.
I cannot wait for next episode. Oh my god. And like, it seems like, like Neon gets to like confront her parents a bit, or at least her mom, I think we see, but like, oh guys, I am ready. There's so much boiling tea everywhere. I cannot wait. Like,
yeah, I wonder if the mom's gonna freak out because she's like, oh, I thought you were my real, because like the dad didn't tell her or something.
Again, like, I wonder exactly what happened with this wish, because like, did they go back in time? Because like, we see the physical evidence of Geets on a phone looking at the news report, and we see like, oh my gosh, she's returned okay, and like the dad like running up and hugging her, saying the correct name, because obviously we've had things where we rewrite the world. So it's like, is this a thing where like they went back and like corrected this, or is this a thing of like,
yeah,
I think that's the most likely, but like, it's like, because obviously like her memories of what happened to her are
you have
different.
To think they rewrite the world. So.
Yeah, it's probably just kind of like it got rewritten, but like, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
But yeah, no, so pretty
if they rewrite the same world, is that a rerun for them?
But
like, legitimately.
That's funny.
We got another Yamato rule. It's pretty standard.
Literally any method is allowed to bring misfortune to humans.
Ooh.
Yeah, both were a lot.
What episodes?
Both had such big dramatic reveals.
Maybe it's a good thing we don't got Ultraman thrown in here, because that's a lot.
But hey,
a lot of good shit.
Zed is being dubbed into English, so
yeah,
that's fun.
So and it's gonna be for free on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, so
it's up right now.
If you guys have been putting off, or if you're just not a big fan of subtitles, like, it's a great story. We didn't really get a chance to like talk about it, but Zed was like, is such a good show. That's a great starter. If you want to get into Ultraman, it's a great starter. I would highly suggest going and supporting that if you get the chance. So
yeah. But yeah, I can't decide which one.
Make sure it's the official Super Raya account.
But yeah, no, I don't know which I want to decide. Like, both were really good.
Both
had some awesome moments.
I couldn't possibly choose between these two, because it's like, I fucking loved Rita and everything that happened to that episode. But oh my god, the drama in this is what I live for. Adam and I even joked like what?
Oh my god, the drama.
Like, we joked of like, oh, like, if/when we have a kid, like, is this just gonna be like their version of, my parents are watching their soap operas again, like, they're so boring, you know what I mean? I wonder if, like, that's, like, we're just gonna be saying, like, no, this is important, look, she wasn't real the whole time, like, oh my gosh, and, like, the stoic guy is all upset now, and they're just like, yeah, sure, ma, sure, dad, whatever.
Yeah.
Go back to your soap opera, and we're just like, shut up, you don't know culture.
Like, I loved the fight. Like, the fact that it went silent and just to see Geets just literally
At least
be like, I have to pummel everything. And I like the extendo claws, by the way. That was awesome. But, like, even, like, all the fights in King Oger, like, Rita just had such a presence and just, as you saw them, like, figure out as it was like a puzzle. Like, both were amazing. King Oger and Geets are going really strong right now.
So good. I cannot believe we got so many, like, we got
good shows.
Not only two
for us,
not only did we get 3 solid Sentai shows in a row, but, like, we've gotten, like, so many good, like, solid writer shows in a row too.
I'm about to say, I know some people are mixed on 0-1
That's
and
fair.
Revice, but, like, we enjoyed them.
This is really I'm just more impressed that we've gotten 3, like, spectacular Sentai shows.
Oh yeah, I love Zenkaiger. I loved Dawn Brothers.
I have learned, like, from experience to not fully judge a show before it has ended. So it's like, I'm just saying, like, I've just got some good, strong vibes for King Oger. Like, I'm officially looking forward to it. My hopes are high. My bar is set.
I like it.
Like, my body is ready. Like, yeah. I'm ready.
But yeah,
more King Oger.
Yeah.
You know for a fact that, like, we're gonna be getting, like, that.
Well, you have to think, we've been talking consistently about King Oger. Like, we really have been.
God, it's so good. Such good episodes.
Well,
like,
then it's, like, it's that high fantasy of being like, what's gonna happen next? Is it actually gonna be Reculus' actual brother? And it's, like, it's so one of those things where there's so much to talk about. It's fun.
It's really fun because I feel like these 2 shows at the moment are a great blend for us because you're more of, like, a sci-fi person. I'm more of I like high fantasy a lot more than you do. So I think it's like, oh, like, I'm kind of, like, you know, really digging King Oger. You were really digging Geets. We both love both shows, obviously.
I love both.
But, like, I love high fantasy. You love sci-fi. So it's like, I feel like, you know, we're both just kind of, like, eating it up at the moment. Like, we eating good.
Yeah. So yeah, tell us your thoughts in the comments.
Obviously,
what did you guys think of these revelations?
Absolutely. Obviously, Adam also likes high fantasy. I also like sci-fi. It's just kind of like personal preferences.
What you watch more often.
What we typically watch more often. But like.
But so yeah, tell us your favorite moments down in the comments. How'd you guys feel about the reveal?
Guys,
tell us all about it. Tell us your theories. We already have told you ours, obviously. It is very exciting.
This is so good, man.
I'm having a ton of fun. And that's all I ask for anything.
Yeah, I'm having fun. Like, I wouldn't say Geets is necessarily, like, wrapping up. I'd say, like,
it's ramping up.
Like, this is about to, like, get to, like, I imagine, like, the climax of the show. Or something like that. I feel like that's what they're kind of, like, building up to.
The Jamato Grand Prix has lasted a lot longer than I expected.
Yeah. And, like, King Oger's obviously just getting started, so it's like, I'm in.
I'm excited.
I'm in.
So, until next week, which we will be getting to whenever. So until then, thank you so much for listening, and until next week. Bye! Bye-bye.